So anyway, Kate, do you have another speaker for me?
Yeah, Kelly Clement.
Kelly, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
I can hear you very well. Go ahead and put your PowerPoint up. Metastock President Kelly Clement has been with Metastock for over 20 years. During his tenure with Metastock, Kelly has spent extensive time presenting at trade shows, seminars, uh, training workshops, and working with market experts globally to help train their customers on implementing strategies in Metastock. He has spoken on a wide variety of topics, ranging from stocks to futures to Forex in numerous countries, including the US, Canada, Greece, Egypt, Singapore, Australia, Malaysia, South Africa, Hong Kong, the United Kingdom, and many more. Kelly has developed several training manuals and hours of video showing traders the best way to use Metastock to identify trading opportunities using the tools, including in Metastock. His training has been instrumental in helping traders get the most out of Metastock and using it to make more informed trades. Kelly also developed the popular sector stat experts included in Metastock 15, and above that, help traders understand the breadth of the market and the underlying sectors. So, Kelly, it seems like you get around a lot, and I see powerful trade identification and someone hooking up two giant electrical cables.
There you go. You got it. You're seeing the PowerPoint then.
Yeah, so you have until 5 minutes before the hour. I'm going to go ahead and mute myself, and you have the floor.
Thank you so much, John, and thank you for inviting me to the webinar today. I so appreciate it. You know, these big events are a lot of work to put together, a lot of work to manage. So kudos to Mad Hedge Fund, to John for putting this together. I know it's a lot of effort to put together this type of education for people. So thank you so much for that. Yeah, as John said, my name is Kelly Clement. I am the president here at Metastock. We're going to talk about what Metastock here is in just a moment. But first, what I always have to do, you know, the lawyers always say we got to start with this before we get into the meat. So I just have to read the first part of this just really quickly, and then I'll get into the presentation. So this demonstration is designed to instruct you on using Metastock and accompanying software plugins, not a recommendation to buy or sell, but rather guidelines to interpreting and using the specific indicators and features within the software. The information, software, and techniques presented today should only be used by investors who are aware of the risk inherent in trading. Metastock and its employees shall have no liability for any investment decisions based on the use of their software, any trading strategies, or any information provided in connection with the company. Metastock and its employees do not endorse the purchase of any security, nor is it paid for the promotion of any security. No information contained in this presentation should be construed as investment advice or a solicitation to buy any security. So don't buy anything based off of what I say. I'm just here to show you kind of how some tools work, how you can identify trades in the market. Now, where I'd like to start, John introduced me very well there. Thank you so much, John. But a little bit more about me. You know, as the president of Metastock, I do travel around a lot. As John mentioned, quite a few different countries. I think I've been around the world several times for Metastock and have spoken in over 31 countries, a lot of different trading floors. So I'm involved in a lot of different markets. But, you know, first thing for me is family. That's always important. So I hope the first thing for you is family, because family is very important. Second of all, I'm a trader. I love to trade. Trading is awesome. What better way to help yourself make money than being able to trade and trade effectively? So we're going to talk a lot about that today. Like I said, I'm a speaker, I'm a systems creator, and a product designer. So I do a lot around here, but I really enjoy trading and I love talking about trading. So let's do that. Now, first, a quick introduction to Metastock, who we are. Metastock is a company that's been around for over 40 years, helping traders identify the best opportunities. So we've been around since 1982. We were founded by a gentleman named Steve Akalis, who created Metastock to help his dad Instead of doing paper charts, being able to do it on the computer each day. So that's how we started. We were purchased by a company called Reuters, which is famous for news and information, back in '95. So we could help them actually do better charting for their institutional products, for big banks, hedge funds. These are people who use our software. So we've been through various stages of development over the years. We were owned by Reuters, then Thomson Reuters. We divested from Thomson Reuters in 2013, but because we focus on retail traders, people like you who are trading at home, where Thomson Reuters was doing institution. We still provide our software to big banks, hedge funds, institutions, but we really focus on the individual trader. So, and always where I like to start my presentations talking about trading is right here. Just looking at the view from a cockpit. Okay, so when you look at a cockpit here, you usually have two pilots sitting up in the front of that plane. And what are those two pilots doing? Well, I mean, obviously they're flying your plane, but when you're getting on that plane, they're busy doing what's called the checklist. Those pilots have to go through a checklist and make sure everything is ready to go before that plane goes anywhere. If they don't do that checklist, well, that's kind of when problems happen, right? It's funny, I travel around a lot, like I said, but one of my favorite TV shows to watch is a show called Airplane Disasters. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard of Airplane Disasters, but it's a show that actually goes back and looks at what's called and sees what happens after an accident happens. These investigators will go in and they will go through the wreckage. They'll try and find the black box. They'll try and find everything that they can to help them understand what caused that accident. Well, oftentimes, if it's not mechanical, what happens is it's pilot error. Pilots didn't follow their checklist. And when they don't follow their checklist, bad things happen. And that's kind of the same with our trading. ZJ is telling me that he watches it as well. It's a great show. If you've never watched it, it is a great show. I mean, I don't like that there's airplane disasters, but it is a great show because they do take this and they go backwards and they figure out what has happened. And we need to be able to do the same in our trading. If something has gone wrong in our trading, we need to go back. We need to check our checklist and say, well, what didn't I do right? What happened? And we can learn from that. And I think that's so critical. And we can always do everything right, but things can still go wrong. And that's why protecting ourselves is so important. This was me at a golf game a couple of weeks ago. I hit the ball right, but it had a slice. Went off, went through a windshield. Okay, we need to figure out ways to protect ourselves in trading when things are going wrong. So risk management, stops. We need to talk about all this. So these are things we're going to talk about throughout the presentation today. Now, one thing I do want to say as I start my presentation here is if you have questions during the presentation, please ask. I'd like to address them as I'm going through the presentation. Now, as I'm getting started, one of the things I would like to ask you is, can you tell me what your favorite trading indicator is? What indicator do you use the most when you're trading on a day-to-day basis? So if you can put that in chat, that'll help me as I kind of get into my presentation here. So what are we going to talk about today in my presentation? Well, what I like to talk about is how to find trades. Okay, that's the biggest thing. Okay, how do we find trades? Thank you so much. I'm getting some answers already. MACD, VWAP. So what I'm going to talk about today is how to find the best stocks to trade. When should I get in and out of a trade? How to test my system before I spend my trading dollar. How do I know that this system works? And how to add some clarity to your trading decisions. Okay, so when we're trading, when we're sitting down and we're looking at different indicators, there's really 4 different groups that we talk about in indicators. We have trending indicators, momentum indicators, volatility indicators, and volume. Okay, so those are our 4 main categories of indicators when we talk about them. So let's talk about some examples of that. So when we talk about trend, we talk about things like moving averages or MACD. So if you're a trend trader, these are probably indicators that you're going to be using. If you're a momentum trader, you'll probably be using things like stochastic or RSI. If you're volatility, you'll be using things like Bollinger Bands or average true range. If you're volume, things like on balance volume, check and money flow. Okay, there's other indicators that fall into these categories. These are just a few basic examples of well-known indicators that people use. And these are the types of indicators that they fall under. Now, the question is, so let's say I pull up a chart. So here's a chart example. Which of these types of indicators should I be using on this chart? Is this a trending stock? Is this a momentum stock? Is this a volatile stock? Or should I be trading based off of volume? And that's kind of the big question we all face. So if I have a favorite indicator like a MACD, or see, I've also got price structure and volume, RSI. So yeah, we've got a lot of different examples here, okay? So when I sit down, I look at this chart and I'm using, let's say, the MACD. How do I know that the MACD works on this specific chart? And that's a lot of what we're going to talk about, is how to identify if it works. So let's talk about workflows. So I'm going to talk about two different workflows today that you can use. Okay, so one, how to find opportunities with your preferred indicators, or how to find the best indicators on a particular that work on a particular stock. So we're going to talk about two different things today. Okay, so that's really my PowerPoint. The rest of the time now here, we're going to be talking and actually going through different trades. Okay, so let me pull up Metastock here. Okay, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time giving you an overview of Metastock because I want to talk about the workflows and what you can do. But what I want to do, it looks like we had a couple people in here that use the MACD. So I'm going to use that as an example to start. But we'll talk about some other indicators as well. So what I'm going to do, first of all, if you're not familiar with the MACD, let's just put it on the chart here for just a second to start. So if I put the MACD on the chart, here I've just got a chart of the DIA, and we'll just put on the standard example here. So basically with the MACD, what we're looking for is we're looking for a crossing of the signal line to generate buys and sells. So that would be a sell right there. That would be a buy right there. Now, if you're not familiar with with indicators, one of the great things about Metastock is I could come in here and I could just right click on something and I could go to help and it would bring up help on it. Or what I could do is I could go into a tool that we offer called the Expert Advisor. And the Expert Advisor is kind of awesome because what it does is it will give me, as it sounds, expert advice. So what it'll do is it'll tell me, based off of the different indicators that I may be trading, when to get in and when to get out based off of the indicator that I'm trading. So you can see here, here's my MACD buy that we just highlighted, and here's my MACD sell that line up with this. It will also take it a step further. If I go into our expert commentary window, it'll just tell me, hey, here's what's going on with the MACD, and here's how you should trade it. So currently the MACD is bearish because it's trading below its signal line. It crossed below its signal line 7 bars ago. Okay, and then since it's crossed its moving average, its price has decreased 0.54, and it has a high range of 392 and a low of 384.10. It's not in an overbought, oversold range, and there's been no divergences in the last 5 periods. Okay, so it's going to walk you through all the different ways you can trade the MACD and help you understand it. Okay, so that's a quick overview of how you can see things on your chart. What I want to focus on is really how do we find that right opportunity that's happening now. So what we're going to do is go into a tool that we have here in Metastock that's called the Explorer. And this is by far my favorite tool in Metastock because what it does is it lets me identify opportunities that are happening right now based off of the criteria that I want. So we have tons and tons and tons of built-in systems in Metastock. So you can see, well, let me unselect this and clear out my search and show you here. So you can see I have, if I select all of these, I have over 261 different scans in Metastock here. Okay, odds are you're not going to want all of those scans, but we offer a wide selection of systems and strategies that you can use. You can also create your own. So if you have your own criteria you want to look for, you can do that. But what we're going to do is focus here on the MACD. So if I search MACD, it'll just give me all the scans that have MACD in the title of it. Okay, I'm just going to select MACD here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell it I want to look through right now, let's just say the S&P 500. Okay, so I'm just going to go S&P 500 versus, actually, I want MACD expert system because this will give me buys and sells. So if I hover over it, it'll tell me what it's looking for. It's going to look for MACD buys and sells and overbought, oversold. So it's looking for all the different ways that MACD is giving signals. So I'm going to look on the market today. I'm going to search on a daily time frame. Depending on the version of Metastock you can have, you can do on a 5-minute chart or 30-minute chart or weekly or daily, whatever it is you want to search, whatever time frame you're comfortable trading, you can do these types of scans. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start my scan here. And you'll see here what it does is it's just going through that list of 500 stocks and it's identifying current opportunities based off of it. So you can see out of the 205 it's gone through, it rejected 185. So it's rejected out about 92% of those stocks. So it's taking out a lot of the market noise for me, and I can just focus on the ones that are giving me opportunities right now. So you can see we're done. We've gone through those in 26 seconds. I have a list of 42 stocks that are triggering a buy, a signal, a buy, a sell, an overbought, or an oversold. And I can rank this now by just clicking on the header there, and I can see by the number 1 in there if these are overbought or oversold. Okay, so we have quite a number of oversold. We have a few overbought. We have some sells, and we have some buys. Okay, it's actually quite a number of buys because the market is up, so that makes sense. Okay, so if I select those, I have 21 buy signals. Okay, so if you're a long trader, you have 21 opportunities there. Okay, so I could go in and I could open up these charts and I could analyze each one of them individually. So if I just kind of clicked on these and go through them, I can see that I have buy opportunities on all of these based off of the MACD. Now, again, I'm not saying you should buy any of these based off of this scan. I'm just showing you what it can do. But so we've got a lot of opportunities. Out of 21 stocks, though, how do I know which one of these is the best to trade? Which opportunity would be the best one for me to use my investment money in? Okay, so if I come back up here and I go through these tabs, I can look at each chart again. I could put on the MACD indicator, I could put on that MACD expert, but I'm still not 100% sure, and will never be 100% sure of what I should trade. So what we want to do is we want to use a tool that can help us understand out of all these 42 stocks that are giving me longs and shorts, which one of these is the best trade option for me to take, okay? How we're gonna do that? We're gonna use a tool in Metastock called the system tester. Now the system tester is a tool that is designed to help me. I'm trying to give a good example of it. So let's say, I'm sure a lot of you have heard of dating sites, so maybe like eHarmony or Match.com. Okay, and what they're doing, what are they trying to do? They're trying to match personalities. They're trying to find similar likes. They're trying to find similar life experiences that they can match people up together with. Basically, what we're doing with the system tester is the same. We're trying to identify if the personality of the trading system is the same as the personality of the stock. So MACD is a trending system, as we talked about. Is my stock trending? Does it trend, or is it momentum, or is it volatility? So what it does is it does a bit of a personality test to say, hey, this works here, but this doesn't work here. And that's what we're going to do to see if we can narrow down that field of 42 stocks, maybe down to 1 or 2. That would probably be the best one. Now, one of the things about system testing when we do this, and we'll talk more about it as we get into it, but it's all historical. It's all in the background, okay? So we're going to look in the past and see how these things have done historically. Now, doing that, I mean, that's hindsight's 2020, right? But if we say, well, it's worked well in the past, well, then our odds of success are greater than if it hasn't worked well in the past. And I'll show you good examples of that and why that is, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to system test our MACD. And again, you can system test whatever strategy you want, or you can create your own to back test, whatever you want. So there's a lot of power here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the MACD expert system here. And we're going to do against those last 42 stocks. So it just gives us the option here to go against those last 42 stocks. Now with the system tester, since it is something that's a personality test, we need to tell it a little bit about us or you individually. If I was to ask every one of you in this room, how much money, well, and don't answer this, please, how much money you have in your trading account, you would all tell me something different. You may have $100, you may have $1,000, you may have $10,000. Whatever it is, you can tell the system tester how much that is. You can tell it how much you're willing to risk in a trade. So we're going to just do that very quickly, okay? So first of all, you can tell the system tester, hey, I go long only, I go short only, or I do both. So I'm just going to do both in this circumstance. You can tell it how far back you want to look. So you could say, hey, I just want to know if it's worked well in the last 6 months or the last 3 months or the last 4 years, 10 years. So what we'll do here is we'll put in about 1,000 records. So there's about 252 trading days in a year. So that's about 4 years. We're going to look over the last 4 years and see how well these 42 stocks have performed using the MACD. Okay. You can set specific ranges. You can set your time frames again, what you want to test. But here's in trade options where we're setting a bit of our personality here. So the big one right here is account. So what I'm doing here is I say how much money I have in my trading account. So I'm just going to say hypothetically here, I have 100,000 in my trading account. Then what I can do is I could say, well, how much of that am I willing to risk at any given time? So here I have 15%. Now, you're probably not going to risk 15% of your money in any given trade, and I wouldn't recommend that. The reason why I have 15 here is the math is easy, and it's easy to kind of show you what we're doing. So I have 100,000, I'm risking 15%. Well, that means I'm going to risk 15,000 of my 100,000 in any given trade. If my money goes up to 200,000, well, now I'm risking 30,000. If it drops down to 50,000, I'm risking 7,500. Okay, so easy math. That's all we're doing there. Okay, you could also say, hey, I only trade 1,000 shares at a time. I trade 10 shares at a time. You can say that in number of units. You can say, I only ever trade $1,000 at a time or $10,000 at a time. You can do that as well. If you trade futures, you can do this points only test. That's a futures test. Okay, so you set that. You set how much you pay in commission for a trade. Now, I know here in the US, we don't pay commission pretty much anymore. No, there's not many brokers that charge commission here in the US anymore. But internationally, there's still a lot that charge commission. They're always disheartened to hear that we pay zero commission. In some markets, it's still very, very expensive to trade, which is unfortunate because it should be easy for everybody to trade without that burden of commissions. And I think it's a great thing to not have to pay commissions anymore. But if you do pay commissions, put that in, okay? And then we have this last tab called trade execution. Now what trade execution does is it basically lets me set when I'm getting into that trade. So the default here is called realistic market prices. So what realistic market prices is it's basically saying, okay, I got my buy signal today. And if I got my buy signal today, when am I actually getting into that trade? Well, typically it's the next bar. So I get my signal today, then I get in on the next bar. Now that's typically how we trade. So if it's a 5 minute, at the close of the 5 minute, you get in on the next bar. If it's a daily, it's at the end of the day, you scan, you get in on the next bar. Okay, so that's what realistic market prices means. Okay, you can also set slippage here if you want to. We're just going to leave all that alone. Now that is a one-time set and you're done. Now I'm taking a lot of time to show you all this. Once we're done, I'm going to show you how fast this can all go. But let's run our test and let's see what it's saying. So down here, what it's doing is it's putting the MACD against every one of those stocks over the last 4 years to see how well they performed. And you can see how fast it did that. So it crunched a lot of data for us. So now we can see here, if I rank on net profit, here I have my instrument name. Well, there's NVIDIA. I know we were just talking about NVIDIA there between the break. So there's NVIDIA. It had a MACD buy signal today. And again, I'm not saying it buy NVIDIA, but it was our top performing stock over the last 4 years. It had an 18% gain as a culmination of those trades, 212 trades over that period. 102 were profitable, 110 were losers. Okay, so trading, if we would have traded NVIDIA over the last 4 years, we would have had a trade profit of, we would have had 102 winning trades and 110 losing trades. So I had more losing trades than I had winners, but it's still my best performing system. Well, what is that telling me? Well, I mean, if you think about it, basically it's telling me that my winners were big and my losers were small. Now, one thing that we did here is we said, when the MACD, all we did is we said, when the MACD says buy, buy it. When the MACD says sell, sell it. That's all we did, okay? It's not accounting for stops or anything like that. Now, you can put stops into it if you want to, and that's a critical part of trading, as we all know. So I'm just testing it this way just to see how the system stands on its own, okay? So if I go in and I click on that line, it will give me more data here, so I can see a little bit more information. So of those 102 trades, eight winning trades, 89 were long, 13 were short. So MACD works better long. Okay, average profit was 108. The highest profit was 4,200, and lowest profit was $6.57. My average loss, 578. Highest loss, 32.88, and lowest loss, $7.83. And those types of trades are when you have those quick, it says buy, you get a bar, and then the next bar says sell, because you kind of get that congestion there. That's when you get those small trades like that. Okay, so that's how our trades break down. So you can see kind of a trade expectancy, average profit. So if you're trading the MACD using on NVIDIA, and you have you're trading with that amount of money, that percentage, think about your average profit. Is your average profit per trade there? Is that enough for you? Is that what you're looking for? Those are things you want to look at. So that's your trade expectancy here, what you expect to get out of a trade. So here you also can realize your loss a little bit. So you can say, okay, this would be my average loss would be maybe your target. So there's a lot of different ways that you can look at this and actually use this data. Okay, now there is a ton of data in here. And some people who love system testing love going through every bit of data and combing and sifting through and trying to understand every bit of it. Okay, we could go through every order that was placed. We could see how the position excursions happened and how many shares it bought and the average profit per share. There's a ton here. I don't like to look at all that, okay? Okay, we can see how the system is created and done. All I like to look at myself is I come in and I go, okay, here's my average profit. I like to look at that. I like to look at my average loss. And then I like to go to what is called the equity line. Okay, so the equity line is really the most critical part of system testing for me, because what it's doing is it's telling how my money would have done over time. So if I look at this is my 4-year period. You can see the number of days down here. So I have 1,000 periods here. We have our initial investment of 100,000, and this is what my money did over time. So initially, trading the MACD on NVIDIA 4 years ago was a losing game. No pun intended. It was a losing game here. So it was losing money. It didn't trade well. Okay, and then it started trading very well. It traded fairly consistently, moving up. Okay, and then it had some probably volatile periods here where it wasn't trending, and then it's been fairly flat. But here at the end of it, we can see that it has been trending again. So our money's been consistently going up here the last few months. Okay, so looking at this, we can see that right now, NVIDIA tends to be trending without even looking at the chart because it's trading well with this. We know it's a trending indicator, so we have a good performing equity line. And that's what we like to see, is a good performing equity line. Now, the best equity line I could ever see would just be a straight kind of consistent move up with an equity line, but you don't see those very often. You often see different trading types and different movements. Okay, that's a big part of this. But here we can see that it's performing fairly well there. So NVIDIA, if you're trading the MACD, would be something to consider. Again, I'm not recommending it, but you can make that own decision. Okay, let's look at the next one, SLB. Okay, my average profit was 783. Okay, let's look at our equity line. Okay, over that 4-year period, again, we had period of choppiness here. Okay, not a great looking equity line here. Okay, here it kind of started picking up. It started trading well with the MACD. So looking at this right here, if it was in this period, I'd be like, yeah, that looks great. Here it doesn't look so great, but what's it doing here at the end? What's it doing right now? It's trending. It seems to be, the equity line seems to be moving in that upward direction. Okay, Hormel Foods. So we could just kind of go through these top performing ones and kind of see if there's one that really picks what we're looking for and what we're doing. So this has been fairly flat. I don't like this one at all because it's been fairly flat. We had one big spike up, but it's been flat. So I can just disregard that one. Okay, so you can see just looking at the first few, we can kind of pick out something that looks well. Again, it's not performing here well at the end, so I don't like it. Okay, now if I were to go down to the bottom performing one, okay, so let's use this as an example. So if I'm looking at this is my initial equity, and it has been consistently losing over time. Is that a stock you're going to trade with the MACD? Let's see what stock it was here. Let's go back here to Dayforce. Okay, so Dayforce over the last 4 years trading the MACD hasn't performed well at all. So looking at that, we could say, well, I'm not trading Dayforce. I could go back to NVIDIA, and that's a great performing system. So suddenly now, between NVIDIA and Dayforce, which of those two are you going to choose? Probably NVIDIA, based off of what you're seeing, how well it's performed historically. So Dayforce has never been a good trending stock. It's probably very volatile, and that's why it doesn't work with the MACD. Okay, so that's how easy it is to quickly identify. So we went through without going all the way down this list, I could just say, well, these top performing ones right here, these top 3 are probably my prime candidates. And then I could just look at those equity lines, see how they perform, and then you would trade as normal. Okay, so very, very easy. So now that we've done that once with the MACD, let's try a different indicator to show you how quickly we can do this. So if I come back to my scanner here, I'm going to do another one that was mentioned was the RSI. Actually, let's unselect everything. Let's do RSI. Let's do this PS stochastic RSI. So this one right here, so we have the RSI, we have the stochastic, which are 2 different indicators. This is a great indicator that I would recommend check out if you've never heard of it. It's called the stochastic RSI. It's actually a mix of the RSI and the stochastic. So we're going to do that one. We're going to do the same S&P 500 scan. Okay, so again, we're rejecting out about 98% of the 500, so we don't have a lot to look at. So this is already narrowing it down for us. And then once that's done, we can just go right to the system tester and identify our trade. So let's go ahead and just let that wrap up here. Again, 26, 27 seconds. Okay, so total we have 15 results. Okay, we only have 1 long and the rest are shorts. Okay, so RSI is giving us that opposite view. So we have more shorts here than we do longs. So We're not even going to open up a chart this time. We're just going to go right over to our system tester. We're going to make sure everything's unselected. Okay, clear out our search. Okay, and let's go to RSI. We want the stochastic RSI. Okay, we'll select that one. And I'm just going to leave everything the same. Okay, so all of our personality tests, it's all set here. Now, you'll notice here that my last exploration result is partially selected, and there's 4 of 15 selected. So that means that 4 of those stocks that have an RSI signal also have a MACD signal going on it as well. And I'll show you a way that you can combine things to make it even more powerful. Okay, so we select our system, we select our 15 stocks, we start our system tester. We run that. Again, we can see there's quite a number that don't work because every stock has personality. And that's what I kind of love about the market. Everything is different and you got to figure out what works well with it. Okay, so Hilton Worldwide is our best performing one. We had 79 trades over that period, 55 winners, 24 losers. So this one, we seem to perform a lot better. Okay, so average profit 673, average loss 802. So this one you probably want to trade with tighter stops if you're trading it. Okay, let's go right to our equity line. And there's our equity line. And that has been fairly smooth and consistent over the last few years, just kind of ratcheting up there. That's nice. That's funny. Hilton, Marriott, getting a few sectors thing. Okay, so now let's talk about this one for just a minute. So if I pull this one up and I look at this, Marriott has been very choppy with the stochastic RSI. Win money, lose money, win money, lose money, win money, lose money, win money, lose money, win money, lose money. Okay, so it's been really choppy and it's never really had a good smooth portion till when? Recently, right? So if I'm looking at recently, that's a good smooth equity line. Okay, that's what we want to see right there. So we're just looking at that picture right there, the current market, what's happening with the current market. This was trading very differently a few years ago, but right now, remember, this isn't a trending stock. This is our equity line moving up, telling us, hey, you've got a great smooth equity going here. So the system seems to be performing well with it right now. So this can help us in our view of saying, okay, again, so Marriott's trading great there at the end. What's going on with Iron Mountain, our worst performing one? Again, consistent loser. Is that the one you want to be trading? Do you want to be trading one that's a consistent loser, or do you want to be trading one that seems to be winning currently? That's where system testing is so powerful, because we can say here that, hey, I'm trading this list of 15 stocks. I've got my system, MACD, RSI, stochastic RSI, whatever it may be. And now I know what system has performed best on it historically. Well, maybe those are the ones I want to watch. So let's go. So what we could do then is let's go to Marriott. I'm just going to close this and let's go to our chart here. I'm just going to type in Marriott. Oh, our Marriott apparently was one of the ones that had a MACD and a stochastic RSI signal. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's put on our expert advisor. And I'll just look for, well, let's just look for RSI because we know that has stochastic RSI in it. Click attach. Okay, and there's my buy and sell signal. So the stochastic RSI is actually giving a sell on it today. And let's see what the MACD was. And the MACD is giving a buy. So MACD is seeing a trend, RSI is giving a sell to stochastic RSI. So you have to follow your system, right? Okay, so this is where it's like, okay, I'm trading my system, starting to do those different things. Okay. Again, so if I wanted to, I could come in here to the expert, look at the commentary, and it's just going to kind of walk me through what I should be doing with the MACD as I'm trading it. Okay, so very easy workflow to identify opportunities. It's very quick. So you can do scan across S&P 500 in 26 seconds. You run a quick back test that takes 10 seconds. And then you look at the top few performers and you've got a few great potential trade candidates right there in front of you. Okay, so very, very easy to do. Now I want to take a little bit of a different approach to it. So that's finding opportunities. That's across a large group of stocks. But I know also people will have their own stocks that they trade. Hey, there's people that love trading NVIDIA. There's people that love trading Marriott. There's people that love trading airline stocks. Okay, so how do you identify the best system to use on your favorite stocks to trade? So what I'm going to ask you to do here is actually put in your favorite stocks to trade, and we're going to show how to test against those particular stocks. So I know everybody has something favorite to trade, so just type in a few symbols. I'll do a few of them, whatever I can, and show you how to do that. Let's go ahead. I'm going to close all these charts so they're not distracting us here. And then we'll take a look at them as they come in. Okay, those are some top asks right there. The SPY, the QQQ, IWM, Microsoft, SPX, ARM, XOM, CDNS. Okay, see, a lot of people trading lots of different things. So let's take a few different ones. Let's actually start. The first one there was Microsoft. So let's grab Microsoft and let's see what we can find here. Let's first of all just pull up our chart and take a look at it. Okay, so here's our Microsoft chart. You know, and if we look at it, we kind of look at it and go, okay, Microsoft has had some great trends in it. It seems a little volatile right now. So what system should we use? Okay, well, let's pull up the system tester. And we're going to do a different approach to this. Now, remember, I don't know if Microsoft has any signals today based off of any of these, but what we're going to do is we're going to come in here and we're going to pit 81 different systems against Microsoft and actually see which one performs the best. So actually, let's do 84. I know Jeff Gibby was in here yesterday talking about the Ichimoku. If you didn't see that presentation, after all this is over, check that out. It's a great presentation on how to actually trade using the Ichimoku indicator. And we can actually backtest it and we can see how it performs. So we're going to use Microsoft against these 84 systems. So you could do 1,000 systems or all 261 systems in Metastock if you wanted to, but we're just going to do these 84 to start. We're going to leave all of our other personality things that we set alone, and let's see what we get. Okay, let's go ahead and view. Okay, kind of interesting here, because if we look at this, we have some very good performers and some very bad performers. Okay, so so if we weed out all these systems here, and I just look at this cycle trend progression system, so it had a 25% gain over that 4-year period, 217 trades, 153 winners, 64 losers. Let's look at our equity line here. Okay, so when I talked about great looking equity lines, that's a great looking equity line. Smooth, consistent performance over that whole 4-year period. I mean, when you're back testing, that's what you like to see. There's no choppiness in it. There's nothing there. Man, the cycle progression system seems to have worked very consistently across time on, and we'll put on that expert here in just a second. But I want to look at the next one because this is interesting. So over that 4-year period, this system only traded once. You only want to trade once over 4 years? I'm not looking for that kind of short-term strategy. It looks like it probably stayed in most of the time there. So let's go back and let's look at the cycle progression because that, I mean, again, that equity line there was just about perfect. That's what we'd like to see. So let's close the system tester. Let's go back to Microsoft and let's put on our cycle progression system. We just look for cycle, put that on, and there's our trades across that 4-year period. And it looks like the cycle progression put in a sell yesterday You can see that here in the commentary, kind of helping you define it. Okay, so just read through these expert commentaries because it tells you how the system is designed, and that can help you understand if that's a way you want to trade. So this system is designed to anticipate short-term swings in price activity. It identifies when there's more down moves than up moves in the last 5 periods and then enters a long position. It exits and enters on a short position on the reverse condition. This system is designed to capture very short-term cycles and should be used with caution. While it's very good at capturing profits on the majority of trades, no real protection mechanism is put into place. So use your own stops, okay? Very important to read, very important to understand. But we can see it on Microsoft, it tended to stand very well on its own. Okay, let's do our next one. Let's go to, well, go from the bottom here. So let's find CLS. Celesta. Okay, start our system test, and we'll see what we get here. And I love doing this because it's just, this is what you're looking at. This is what you're after. These aren't anything that I picked out to start. These are the things that you're telling me to look at. And again, we can weed out a lot of systems here, but our best performing one, 61%, 27 trades over 4 years. So, you know, not super active, but a few trades a year. Trade profit, 12.15. Let's look at our equity line. Well, there at the end. Okay, we like to look at that there at the end. That's pretty powerful. Let's look at the Ichimoku. Kind of the same thing. Okay, so you can look at those two. So let's look at the PS annual strength weakness on CLS. Let's go to our chart. Let's open CLS. Okay, we'll go to expert. And because I was going so fast, I forgot what the expert was, but I know the Ichimoku was on there. So we'll put that as our second one. So we can put on our Ichimoku expert. Okay, and then based off of the Ichimoku, it's going to tell me what's going on with it. Okay, and it looks like the last signal was back here. Okay, and that will tell me what's happening on that bar, when I got that signal, but there's no current signal today. So that's a difference in these two workflows. We just happen to see one on Microsoft with cycle progression, but if you're testing this way, you may not see a current signal. You may have to wait for another signal. But if you're trading this, you're like, okay, you know, don't get in on a signal that happened 15 bars ago, because that's trades already happened. You want to wait for a new signal to take that opportunity. Don't get in the middle of something. Okay, let's do one. Let's do XOM. Okay, and let's just open our chart. Take a look at it first. Okay, XOM, huge trend right there. A little more volatile now. Let's see what the system tester is giving us on a system. Okay, XOM, 84 systems. Okay, let's see what our net profit is here, and then we'll do one more after this. Okay, so I mean, if it trades once in 4 years, I'm not even going to look at it, because that's not what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for something that maybe traded once 4 years ago. So I want to look at something that's actually a little more active. I'm an active trader, so that's more what I like to look for. Let's go to our equity line. Fairly smooth and consistent again. Okay, so what system is that? That was our pattern trading system 1. Okay, let's go back to XOM. Let's go to our expert advisor, and let's put on cycle. Let's go number 4. Pattern trading system 4, attach. Okay, and you can see this is actually when it got into that trade and has been holding it long for quite a better period of time. And then it tells you, again, how this system works, what it's looking for, and why it's giving signals when it gives signals. And that's what's great about the tools in Metastock and the expert advisor around helping you trade and helping you know when to get in and out of the trade. Okay. always, 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 I recommend trading with stops, making sure you have your stops in place, have your risk management in place. We go back to the what I showed at the very beginning, which was the pilot's cockpit and that checklist. Make sure you're following your checklist. Make sure you have your rules in place when you trade. Protect yourself in what you're doing and what you're trading to make sure, because that's when we don't, again, that's when things go wrong. Okay. So let's jump over to the PowerPoint for just a moment here. So again, the two things that we talked about was one, using your preferred indicator. So something like the MACD, scan a list of stocks. It could be sectors, it could be a whole market, it could be S&P 500, whatever that list is. Scan it with your indicator. Find a list of stocks that have a current opportunity. Test and find if that one has a current signal, matches what you're looking for in your trade, if it's worked historically. The second workflow we did there was finding the best indicators, taking a particular security that you have, back testing it, and finding if it's worked well, and then changing to that trading system. So two strong workflows for finding opportunities. Now there's a lot more you can do in Metastock, but obviously I have about 4 minutes left, so we don't have a lot of time to go through all those different things. But I'd like to tell you how you can take advantage of Metastock and how you can use it more. Now, Metastock has been ranked Stocks and Commodities winner, the best analysis software in the $200 to $500 price category for 31 years. It's an incredible feat. We are, we don't pay to win. This is voted on by the readers of Stocks and Commodities every year, and every year for 31 years we have won the best analysis software. So if you're looking for an analysis software to help you, a charting package to help you in your day-to-day trading, why not use something that has won the Reader's Choice Award at Stocks and Commodities for the last 31 years? Absolutely incredible, and we are so proud of that and what we offer to traders on a day-to-day basis to help them. So there's two versions of Metastock that you can use. We have a real-time version. If you are a real-time trader, you're trading 1 minute charts, 5 minute charts, 30-minute charts, daily charts, and looking at those big multiple time frames, Metastock RT is for you. So it includes everything I've shown you. It also includes a package that we call Zenith, which is a real-time news and analysis package provided by LSEG. It is an amazing data package. It's top quality market data that's used by the big banks, hedge funds, institutions. That $265 a month doesn't include exchange fees, so that's Metastock RT. We have an end of day version, which basically does daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly. So if you're working during the day, you want to go home, scan the market, backtest, find opportunities, Metastock end of day is for you. It's $69 a month. That includes all the data, one region, so one stock region like North America, global indices, futures, and in the US, it includes options data as well. So $69 a month, it's fairly inexpensive to help you find these great opportunities. With it, you get our free Metastock support. We help you get everything set up. We'll call you, we'll help you install it. We'll talk to you about what you want to accomplish in Metastock, and they'll show you how to do it and work through. After that, it's free, unlimited lifetime support. Anytime you need help, give us a call. We have tons and tons of training to go through. We're here to support you in your trading. That's what we want to do. So there is we're giving an option here to do a 3-month trial. So it's basically pay for 1 month and get the second and third month for free. So if you think about that $69 package, Metastock end of day, $20 a month for 3 months, $22 a month for 3 months to try this out, see how it can help you in your trading on a day-to-day basis. It's an absolute incredible package. They've just posted that in the chat. It's metastock.com/madhedge 3-for-1, or you can give us a call. We have great sales reps who are talk to you about your trading, what you're doing on a day-to-day basis, and they can help you understand which version of Metastock may be better for you to try it out. However you trade, we can help you in your trading. So you get our version is Metastock 19. You get the data region of your choice. You get white glove installation. will give you what's called Unleash the Power of Metastock. It's a $99 value on top of this. And it's a great workbook and a collection of videos that show you all the different things that you can do with Metastock. It talks about a lot about the workflows that I went through today. You can call us 800-882-3040, metastock.com/sales chat, or metastock.com/madhedge341. And I believe that's my limit, John. So back to you.